everybody, and welcome back to Popping the Popcorn. I'm your host, Katie, and today I'm reviewing Carlito's Way. My friend Craven from Craven Not So Scary. Please go follow him. Asked me to review this movie. I have seen it before, but it's been a really long time, and this is this is my other favorite mobster movie. Besides Goodfellas. Goodfellas is my number one. This is my number two favorite. So this movie stars Al Pacino, Sean Penn, Louis Zalman, uh, John Leguizamo's in it, Penelope Ann Miller's in it, Viggo Weaving's in it. There's like a lot of famous people in this movie. And it has a really good music score and everything. And this movie is directed by Brian De Palma, which he's a really good director. He's directed a lot of different movies, mostly suspense, crime, psychological thrillers. He mainstreamed the box office with his hit Carrie from the Stephen King book. He did Just Dressed to Kill, Scarface, The Untouchables, Mission Impossible, as well as cult favorites as Sisters, Phantom of the Paradise Blowout, Body Double, Carlito's Way. So he's done a lot of great movies. And so this movie starts off as we get to know Al Pacino's character. So a free man after being a free man after years in prison, Carlito, which is Al Pacino's character, tends to give up his criminal ways, but it's not that long before his ex-con is sucked back into New York underworld, recommending with his dancer girlfriend. Carlito gets entangled in shady dealings to his friend Sean Penn, who serves as a lawyer when Carlito runs into this other guy, shady gangster Benny Blanco, and sets them on a dangerous path. And this is such a good dark movie, dark gangster movie. It has really good cinematography in it. And I really enjoy this movie, even though a lot of people really enjoy this movie as well. This movie has really good cinematography, really good soundtrack. I really like this movie because it shows the world of gangsters, and you want to be in this world and everything like that. And it has two of my really favorite actors, Sean Penn and Al Pacino. And I really love Sean Penn in Mystic River. He did a really good job in that movie. And I really love Al Pacino and Scarface, The Godfather, and stuff like that. I don't know why I said Scarface. I don't think he was in Scarface. It's Marlon Brando. I don't know. I'm getting my actors mixed up, I guess. So here, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend you guys watch it. You can watch it on Hulu, or you can watch it on Pluto. I think it's on Pluto as well. And here goes some fun facts about the film. The title was changed to avoid the confusion with Martin Scorsese's film. It was going to be Edwin Toro's Carlito's Way. Carlito's Way was in fact based on two novels Carlito's Way, After Hours by Edwin Torres, with the screenplay for film drawing more for the latter. After Hours set in Carlito's Ben's Nights, I forget how you say his last name, and was chosen as the main source for the film adaptation to the character of being close age to Al Pacino. Unfortunately, the filmmakers that were already in another movie called After Hours in 1985, Martin Scorsese's black comedy. The film follows a man whose attempted sexual encounter turns into a wild goose chase involving suicide and mafia. The next morning straightens his jacket and goes into work. So De Palma naturally wanted to avoid the confusion, especially since his film also featured crime. As a result, his film for Toro's first novel, despite more closely resembling the second one, Accidentally After Hours, was used in 2019 as the title of R&B musician The Weeknd's latest album. Thought were suspect he wasn't suspiciously nodding to Carlito's Way, which is an interesting thing that, in Hollywood, some people just don't want to get them confused because Martin Scorsese's first movie, and I also am a huge Martin Scorsese fan and a Brian De Palma fan, and they both have different directorial movies that they did and stuff like that. Al Pacino was sued for $6 million over the project. 3 years before Carlito's Way went into production, Al Pacino was sued by Carlito's Way producer Elliot Kishmart, or however you say it, for a breach of contract. How? Well, like all litigation, it's complicated, and Elliot was not the fact that produced Carlito's Way as well we known it to be, but the project was also looking to adapt Edwin Torres' work for screen, having previously produced a classic noir fan like The Long Goodbye. In 1989, Elliot sued Pacino for $6 million, claiming that the actor had agreed to star in his version of Carlito's Way, set to star Marlon Brando as the lawyer, David, the lawyer, in Carlito's Way, and what was hoped to be a Godfather reunion. After 4 years hiatus, Pacino had just released Sea of Love, a memorable thriller, put the actor's name straight back onto the A-list, which is interesting that he would get sued for that. Also, here goes another fun fact. Worried about making another Scarface, Brian De Palma actually intentionally turned down the film. So he just turned down the film at first because he didn't want it to turn into another Scarface, and he wanted to also work with Al Pacino again. So alongside carrying The Untouchables, after that he decided to do this movie. Let's see, what else do we have? So Al Pacino turned up on the first day on crutches. If you don't know anything about filmmaking, you'll know that time is the enemy. Basically, the film schedule needs to be planned precisely to avoid wasting time and cost. And you can imagine how your lead actor would be in crutches on the first day. So now you can imagine what he had to plan to shoot was first elaborate action sequence involving your lead jumping from train around Grand Central. That's exactly what happened to Brian De Palma, and it's not certainly what was the reason Al Pacino's injury main hobby is apparently reading another than mixed martial arts, but we know De Palma had to instead film the pool hall scene first, because Al Pacino was hurt, so he didn't want to get Al Pacino hurt. Brian De Palma tricked the studio into thinking the film was shortened, but it's actually a 2-hour and 14-minute film. I find that funny that he tricked them into it. Sean Penn lost it when De Palma wouldn't let him film more than 30 takes for one scene. That's interesting. I don't know why Sean Penn would get mad over that, but that's really interesting. Al Pacino and Penelope and Miller became a real couple during the shooting of the movie. That's really cool. The Grand Central Station shot was indeed was intended for the World Trade Center. The reasons why Cashier du Cinema called this film the best 90s film, the Grand Central scene at the climax of the film must be one of the best action sequence in decades. And originally it was supposed to take place in the World Trade Centers, which was interesting. Alan de Suarez, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, threatened to sue the film for defamation because he thought Kleinfeld was based off of him. So that was Sean Penn's character. The film nearly starred Alison Dory as Gail, but they decided not to at the last minute. A direct-to-video prequel was released in 2005. I have not seen that one, so I probably should maybe check it out. Pacino heard about the film while working for Spectro. That's interesting. The hospital scene was written up to 30 times. Wow, that's crazy how he had to write up a movie like that one scene like 30 times. Alda Frida nearly directed the movie. That would have been interesting if he directed the movie as well. But then again, there's two different directing styles. The river scene was initially filmed in a shipyard. That's really interesting that it was filmed in a shipyard. The film's description of the Grand Central Station makes no sense. When you're shooting one of the greatest action sequence of the decade and one of the greatest still scenes of all time, you have to take a few liberties with geography and logistics. What that means is, in practice, with that, De Palma had to lobby Penn Central to the owners of Grand Central Station to accommodate the scenes. That's really cool. The film includes an obscure reference to The Death Becomes Her. I have not seen that film, but I heard it's a really good film. Al Pacino was forced to wear a thick coat in summer. That really sucks for Al Pacino that he had to wear a really thick coat for the summertime. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and please go follow my friend Craven at Craven Something Scary. And don't forget tomorrow night, tonight I should say, The Witching Hour is talking about Little Shops of Horror at my channel at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come check that out. And also tomorrow I will be doing summer movie series, and also on Thursday on Creators Corner I'll be having Ricky from Old AFF Reviewers. So come check that out. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday, and have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.